Welcome to Cooking with Cheli. In this video, I will give you step-by-step instructions on how to make mouth-watering Jamaican jerk chicken in your oven. Now, authentic Jamaican jerk chicken is a process and is done in a jerk drum, or what we call a drum pan, with special pimento wood, which helps with the flavor and the smoking of the chicken. It is absolutely yummy. But until you can get to Jamaica, this is the recipe you need. Here I'm using about 5 leg quarters that I've already cleaned and washed in vinegar and lemon juice. I've also put some incisions in just to make sure that we get the seasonings all the way in it and up under the skin. The spices I'll be using today are garlic powder, allspice seasoning ground, some Cool Runnings jerk seasoning. I'll also be using some Grace jerk seasoning, and this one is a wet one. And if you notice, I'm using mild because, honey, I cannot stand too much of the spice. A little bit does me just fine. I'm also using some minced ginger, some browning, which is to give it that dark color. And I'm also going to use some ground pimento. I've kind of just mashed it up on my own, the berries that is. Pimento is very essential to jerk. And this is my own homemade green seasonings, and I will share a video of that with you another time. Now I'm adding the spices. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of the dried jerk seasoning, one teaspoon of the powdered allspice, a tablespoon of the powdered garlic, my crushed pimento berries, and I think I used about 6 to 7 of those berries, a half a tablespoon of the minced ginger, 2 tablespoons of the mild jerk seasoning. You are free to use hot if that's your choice. There are also different brands, but I happen to like the Grace brand. Guys, I ended up adding a half a teaspoon of seasoning salt, and you can add any brand you like. I then added my browning. You can see me here with a half a tablespoon, but really only needed 1 teaspoon, so that is all I added. Please check the description box below for all the measurements of everything I'm using. And lastly, I'm adding a half a cup of my homemade green seasonings. I will make a video on how I make this seasoning. You can make it in batches and store it in your refrigerator until you're ready to use it. And now that we've added all our spices, we are ready to rub it and mix it all together. I put my gloves on. Make sure you do as well, because here we're rubbing in a lot of different spices, so it's important to use your glove. Don't be afraid to rub it in, guys. Get it all under the skin. Make sure it's in all the incisions that you made. We want to make sure that when it's finished, we can bite into any part of it and it will just be a burst of flavor. So don't be afraid to really get in there and get the spices all over your chicken. See how I'm massaging it in there? Which is why gloves are very important. You can use disposable ones, or you can do like me and use these ones. These are my special season up the chicken gloves, and after I finish with them, I wash them in my sink with a little bit of bleach in the water, and we're good to go after that. After adding all the spices, I'm just going to cover it up with saran wrap. And guys, this is best if you leave it overnight so it can marinate properly, or at least 2 hours before you put it in the oven. So here I am preparing the pan, and this is an old pan, but I absolutely love it. This is an optional step, by the way. You do not have to have a pan like this to have really good jerk chicken. So that's the bottom of the pan, and this is the top grilling part on which I'll place my chicken. I've added 2 cups of water and some extra spices in the bottom of this pan, but like I said, you don't have to use this pan. You can use another container, you can use a casserole dish, something similar to this, or whatever you have that can go in the oven that can hold your chicken. After lightly greasing the pan with some oil, I'm going to start laying my chicken down, just one piece at a time, and you can see what's about to happen here. The water on the bottom will help to keep my chicken nice and moist, and then all that juice and everything from the chicken will go down to the bottom of the pan, and that mixture I will use later to make a really hot sauce for those people in my family who like for the chicken to be burning off their lips. Guys, if you were to use a regular dish like a casserole style dish or a foil pan to do your chicken, all the juices and everything that I'm talking about would be inside the dish, and you would just use like a turkey baster or a spoon to get that sauce up and pour it back over your chicken. But like I said, this is just my personal preference to use this pan, but it's really not a necessity for this recipe. And here it is, all nicely laid out and ready for the oven, which I have preheated at 350 degrees. And the cooking time will be 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now this is what it looks like after 30 minutes. It's coming along nicely, and oh my goodness, I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. Here I'm just giving it a quick turn so that it can cook evenly throughout, and about 15 minutes before I remove it from the oven, I'll flip it again, skin side up, so that the skin can remain nice and crispy. And here it is, guys, after removing it from the oven. Oh my goodness, take a look at that. It smells amazing. I cannot wait to taste it. Everything just came out perfectly. I've added a little bit of garnish to give it some color, which are some dried parsley. I wish I had fresh ones, but didn't today. So I used dried parsley, and I'm also using some beautiful red and yellow Scotch bonnet peppers. Wow, take a look at that. Doesn't it look yummy? Leave me a comment below in the comment section, guys, and let me know if you will try this recipe. Let's go ahead, guys, and give it a taste. Look at that. It is juicy and it is so tender. Oh my goodness. Take a look at that. You can try it. Go ahead. There you go. It is absolutely delicious. Remember all that goodness that was in the bottom of the pan? Well, here it is. I've transferred it to a pot, added an extra Scotch bonnet pepper, and this will serve as the sauce for those who like their chicken extra spicy. And this is all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have officially made it through our very first video of cooking with Cheli. If you enjoyed this recipe, I would love for you to consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the subscribe button below, and also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you are the first to know when I upload recipes such as this. Until the next video, you know what to do. Go and big up on yourself.